Donald J. Trump. You know the name. From real estate mogul to president, Trump has always been a lightning rod for controversy. He's a master of self-promotion and a shrewd politician. This is the story of Donald J. Trump, his rise to power and his legacy. Let's dive in. Born in Queens, New York in 1946, Donald Trump was a child of privilege. After college, Trump joined his father's business, making a name in New York City real estate. He developed luxury hotels, casinos, and golf courses. In 2015, he announced his candidacy for president, running on a populist platform. Despite controversies, Trump pulled off a stunning upset, defeating Hillary Clinton. He became the 45th president of the United States. Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946 in Queens, New York City. His father, Fred Trump, was a self-made millionaire real estate developer. Donald was the fourth of 5 children, displaying charisma and confidence from an early age. He was a natural leader, often getting into mischief. Stories of his childhood antics paint a picture of a boy unafraid to stand out. This early confidence set the stage for his future endeavors. At 13, Donald was enrolled in the New York Military Academy. The academy instilled in him discipline and structure. He thrived, excelling in academics and athletics. Donald honed his competitive spirit, a trait defining his business and political career. The academy provided camaraderie and connections with influential families. These connections proved invaluable in his later life. After graduating from the New York Military Academy, Donald Trump attended Wharton School. He immersed himself in his studies and worked for his father's company. Donald learned real estate development firsthand, developing his own vision for success. He displayed unwavering confidence and relentless self-promotion. His time at Wharton laid the foundation for his future empire. Donald was on his way to becoming a force in New York City real estate. Fresh out of college, Donald Trump joined his father's company. He set his sights on Manhattan, seeing potential in its chaos. With $1 million loan from his father, Donald took risks and made bold moves. He secured additional loans and partnerships to bring his projects to life. Donald's ambition and negotiating skills set him apart. He was determined to leave his mark on New York City's skyline. One of Donald's earliest triumphs was the renovation of the Commodore Hotel. He transformed it into the Grand Hyatt, establishing himself as a major player in real estate. Donald's aggressive business tactics and self-promotion often sparked controversy. He was known for his lavish lifestyle and bold moves. Some admired his audacity, while others saw him as brash and arrogant. Donald's rise was marked by both success and controversy. Donald set his sights on Trump Tower, a 58-story skyscraper on Fifth Avenue. Despite opposition, he pushed forward, using legal maneuvering and public relations savvy. Trump Tower became a symbol of his ambition and the excesses of the 1980s. Donald spared no expense in promoting it, making himself a household name. He became a symbol of success and a master of self-promotion. Love him or hate him, Donald Trump had arrived. The late 1980s and early 1990s were a time of triumph and tribulation for Donald Trump. He expanded his empire but faced financial struggles and massive debt. His casinos and other ventures struggled, leading to multiple bankruptcies. The New York tabloids reveled in his downfall, chronicling his financial missteps. Despite the setbacks, Donald remained determined to rebuild his empire. His resilience and ability to bounce back became a defining trait. By the new millennium, Donald Trump's star had faded. Then came The Apprentice, a reality TV show that resurrected his career. The show's premise: aspiring entrepreneurs compete in business challenges judged by Donald. The Apprentice was a ratings smash, making Donald a television star and cultural icon. He became known for his catchphrase, "You're fired." Donald's larger-than-life personality captivated viewers and revived his brand. The success of The Apprentice breathed new life into the Trump brand. Donald licensed his name to a wide range of products from steaks to mortgages. He understood the power of his name, evoking both aspiration and controversy. People bought his products and stayed at his hotels because of the Trump brand. This relentless self-promotion struck some as crass, but to Donald it was part of the game. He was building an empire, one branding deal at a time. Section 3. A master of media manipulation. Donald's rise to fame coincided with the rise of a new form of media, cable news and the internet. He understood, perhaps better than anyone at the time, the power of these new platforms to shape public opinion and bypass traditional gatekeepers. He was a master of the soundbite, the outrageous quote that would guarantee him headlines and airtime. He cultivated relationships with certain media personalities, granting them exclusive interviews and access in exchange for favorable coverage. And when the media coverage wasn't to his liking, he wasn't afraid to push back, to attack reporters and news organizations that he deemed unfair or biased. He understood that controversy sells, and he wasn't afraid to court it, to use it to his advantage. This mastery of media manipulation, this willingness to say anything, no matter how outrageous or inflammatory, would become a hallmark of his political career. Section 4. The birth of a political persona. Donald Trump flirted with politics for years, even exploring a 2000 presidential run. During the Obama years, his ambitions grew serious. He criticized Obama and embraced the birther conspiracy. Using Twitter and cable news, he amplified these claims. This marked his transformation into a political figure. He was laying the groundwork for his White House run. Donald Trump's foray into politics wasn't sudden. It was a path he'd circled for years, testing the waters with flamboyance and calculated risk. Drawn to the political stage, he toyed with the idea of running on the Republican ticket. As early as the 1980s, whispers circulated about a potential Trump presidency. He delivered a fiery speech at the 1988 Republican National Convention. Trump's political affiliations were as fluid as the New York City skyline. He shifted between parties like a high roller at a roulette table. He was a registered Democrat for years, even donating to Bill Clinton's campaigns. Later, he declared himself an independent. By the mid-2000s, he returned to the Republican fold. This dance between parties added to Trump's mystique. He was an enigma, a political chameleon. This unpredictability became a key part of his appeal. Trump's presidential aspirations grew from the discontent of the Obama years. Trump emerged as a relentless critic, seizing on the partisan divide. He tapped into the anxieties of white working-class voters. His weapon was a blend of nativism, populism, and falsehoods. Trump latched onto the birther conspiracy theory. He used Twitter and cable news to amplify this baseless claim. He painted himself as a truth-teller against the liberal media. The birtherism campaign gave Trump attention, notoriety, and a devoted following. It was a divisive tactic, but it raised his profile. As the 2016 election approached, the political landscape was ripe for disruption. The Republican Party was deeply divided, struggling with the Tea Party movement and anti-Washington sentiment. Into this environment, Donald Trump launched his bid for the presidency. His June 2015 announcement was a spectacle of political theater. Trump positioned himself as the ultimate outsider, uncorrupted by Washington. Section 4. The campaign trail, a circus of controversy. Trump's campaign was a whirlwind of rallies, media appearances, and Twitter tirades. His rallies drew massive crowds, fueled by anger, resentment, and nostalgia. He promised to build a wall, ban Muslims, and drain the swamp. He attacked opponents viciously, shocking seasoned observers. The media, initially dismissive, realized he was a ratings bonanza. Trump exploited this, using Twitter to bypass traditional media. Section 5. Against all odds, a victory for the history books. As the 2016 election entered its final months, most polls showed Hillary Clinton with a comfortable lead over Trump. She was the experienced politician, the former First Lady, Senator and Secretary of State. He was the reality TV star, the casino mogul, the political novice with no experience in government. Yet, as the results came in on election night, it became clear that something extraordinary was happening. Trump defied all expectations, winning key battleground states like Pennsylvania, Michigan and Wisconsin, states that had voted for Democratic presidential candidates for decades. He tapped into a deep well of economic anxiety, cultural resentment and anti-establishment anger that had been building for years. His message of change resonated with millions of Americans who felt left behind by globalization and ignored by the political elite. When the final votes were counted, Donald Trump had pulled off one of the most stunning upsets in American political history. He had defied the polls, the pundits, and the conventional wisdom to become the 45th President of the United States. His victory sent shockwaves through the country and around the world, signaling a seismic shift in American politics. Section 1, the first 100 days, a flurry of activity and controversy. On January 20th, 2017, Donald J. Trump delivered his inaugural address. "The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer," he declared. His speech, laced with dark imagery, set the tone for a presidency that would be anything but ordinary. Trump governed boldly, unpredictably, and with a disdain for conventional norms. He signed a flurry of executive orders, making good on campaign promises. He withdrew from the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade agreement and banned travel from several Muslim-majority countries. His actions drew immediate legal challenges and sparked protests. The pace of activity was relentless. Trump appointed 2 conservative justices to the Supreme Court, shifting the balance of the court to the right. He met with foreign leaders, often dispensing with diplomatic protocols. He engaged in Twitter wars, using social media to attack opponents and shape the news cycle. Section 2. Tax cuts and economic booms wins on the home front. One of Trump's signature achievements was the passage of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. The legislation slashed taxes for corporations and wealthy individuals, marking a significant victory for Trump's economic agenda. The administration argued that the tax cuts would stimulate economic growth, leading to higher wages and more jobs. The economy grew with unemployment rates reaching historic lows and the stock market hitting record highs. Section 3. America First on the world stage, trade wars and Twitter diplomacy. Trump's America First policy emphasized economic nationalism and skepticism of multilateral agreements. He withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal, imposed tariffs on China, and moved the US embassy to Jerusalem. His foreign policy was unpredictable, driven by personal relationships. He met with Kim Jong-un 3 times, praised Putin despite election interference, and threatened to leave NATO. His Twitter use added chaos, announcing policy shifts and attacking leaders. Section 4. The swamp fights back impeachment and investigations. Trump's presidency was marked by partisan rancor and political turmoil. His opponents accused him of being unfit for office, citing his temperament and policies. Special counsel Robert Mueller investigated Russian interference and possible obstruction of justice. Mueller's investigation fueled calls for impeachment. In December 2019, Trump was impeached by the House. The charges stemmed from Trump's efforts to pressure Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden. The Senate acquitted Trump in February 2020. The impeachment deepened the partisan divide. Trump dismissed the impeachment as a witch hunt, while opponents argued he abused power. In early 2020, the United States was hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. The virus spread rapidly, infecting millions and killing hundreds of thousands. The pandemic upended daily life and plunged the country into an economic crisis. Trump's response was widely criticized. The death of George Floyd sparked nationwide protests and reignited conversations about race and police brutality. The pandemic and protests exposed deep divisions in American society. The end of Trump's presidency didn't usher in a quiet retirement. Instead, he remained a figure of immense interest and controversy at Mar-a-Lago. Out of office but not out of sight, Trump continued to dominate headlines. He launched his own social media platform, Truth Social. It quickly became a digital echo chamber for his followers, but Trump couldn't escape legal and financial troubles. The New York Attorney General intensified its investigation into the Trump Organization. For Trump, the lure of politics proved too strong to resist. He continued to hold rallies across the country, drawing thousands of his most devoted supporters. Trump also endorsed candidates who supported his agenda and echoed his claims of a stolen election. His grip on the GOP base remained strong. Donald Trump's personal life has fascinated the public. His 3 marriages, 5 children, and dating models have turned his family into a real-life soap opera. His first marriage to Ivana Zelnickova was legendary. They had 3 children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric. The marriage faced challenges, including Donald's alleged affair with Marla Maples, leading to a public divorce in 1992. Trump's children have remained fiercely loyal, defending him, promoting his businesses, and embracing his political ambitions. They have become extensions of the Trump brand, their lives intertwined with his own. Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric took on executive roles in the Trump Organization. They appeared on The Apprentice and campaigned for their father. Tiffany Trump has maintained a lower profile, attending the University of Pennsylvania and Georgetown Law. Barron Trump, Donald's son with Melania, was 10 when his father was elected. He has been shielded from the public eye, attending private schools. A polarizing figure, adoration and abhorrence. Donald J. Trump's impact is undeniable. He inspires fervent adoration and visceral revulsion. To his supporters, he is a hero, a straight-talking outsider. To his detractors, he is a demagogue, a threat to democracy. This stark divide reflects deep polarization. The Trump effect, reshaping the political landscape. Trump's impact extends far beyond his presidency. He has transformed the Republican Party into a populist, nationalist movement, energizing voters left behind by economic and cultural shifts, and emboldening a new generation of confrontational Republican politicians, forcing the Democratic Party to reevaluate its message and strategy, grappling with how to respond to Trump's populism, energizing a progressive movement demanding radical change, galvanizing activists for social justice, economic equality, and environmental protection, inspiring a new generation of young people to become politically engaged. A legacy etched in controversy, truth, lies, and the erosion of norms. Trump's presidency was marked by misinformation, attacks on the media, and conspiracy theories. He made false statements about his inauguration crowd size and the COVID-19 pandemic. He called the media the enemy of the people and accused journalists of spreading fake news. His embrace of conspiracy theories eroded trust in institutions. This blurring of truth and falsehood challenges American democracy. And a story unfinished, the verdict of history awaits. As Donald Trump continues to exert his influence on American politics, his ultimate legacy remains a subject of intense debate. His supporters view him as a transformative figure, a once-in-a-generation leader who challenged the status quo and put America first. His detractors see him as a dangerous demagogue who damaged American democracy and left the country more divided than ever. Only time will tell how history will judge Donald J. Trump. His presidency was a tumultuous period in American history, marked by both significant achievements and profound failures. He left an indelible mark on American politics, culture, and society, and his influence will continue to be felt for years to come.